The sound of rushing footsteps echoed across the marble hallway. "Mr. Grant, wait," a voice called out. But Damien Grant, the billionaire owner of the Grant Group, didn't stop. His phone was pressed to his ear, his jaw tight, his voice sharp. "Sell the shares now, before the market dips again. I don't care, just do it." He turned a corner and crashed straight into someone carrying a mop bucket. Water splashed everywhere. Papers flew from his hand. The young woman gasped as the mop handle slipped, nearly hitting him in the face. He grabbed it instinctively, and their heads bumped. "Ah, I'm so sorry, sir," the woman stammered, bending down to clean the mess. Damien rubbed his temple, annoyed but trying to keep his composure. "Watch where you're." He stopped. The cleaner looked up, her wide brown eyes full of panic. She was young, maybe 22, with soft dark curls tucked under her cleaning cap. Her name tag read Lila. He exhaled, trying not to sound harsh. "You work here, right, Lila?" "Yes, sir. I'm so sorry. I didn't see you coming." Damien crouched to pick up the papers. "It's fine. Just be careful next time." Their hands brushed the same paper at once. For a moment, their eyes met. Awkward silence. Then, from down the hall, Damien's assistant gasped. "Mr. Grant," she exclaimed. "What on earth? Did you just kiss the cleaner?" "What?" Damien jerked back, confused. Lila blinked in horror. "No, we didn't. Our heads just bumped." But the assistant was already whispering to another staff member, and within minutes, the story started spreading. The billionaire boss kissed the cleaner in the hallway. By noon, the whole office was buzzing. Lila hid in the janitor's closet, her cheeks red. She could hear the whispers from passing employees. "Did you hear? The boss and the cleaner?" Maybe that's why she got hired so fast. She covered her face. "Oh no, no, no." Meanwhile, Damien sat in his office, scrolling through his phone as his publicist called. "We're getting calls, Damien. Someone took a picture. It looks bad." He slammed the desk. "A picture? From what angle?" "It looks like you're leaning down and she's looking up at you. Social media's already running with it." He groaned. "Unbelievable. I literally bumped into her." "That's it." His best friend and partner, Ryan, leaned on the doorway with a grin. "Well, you always said you needed better PR. Now, you've got a love story trending." "This is not funny, Ryan." Ryan smirked. "Tell that to Twitter. Billionaire and the Cleaner is trending number 3. Damien dropped his head on the desk. "I can't believe this." Later that evening, as most staff left, Lila quietly returned to the hallway to mop. She hummed under her breath, hoping no one would notice her. But Damien appeared again, holding a coffee cup. "I figured you'd still be working," he said, his tone softer now. Lila froze, mop in hand. "Mr. Grant, I swear I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I can resign if it's causing problems." He frowned. "You're not resigning. It was an accident. I'll clear it up tomorrow." She looked up, eyes wide. "You'd really do that?" He nodded. "I don't like lies or rumors." Their eyes met again, but this time there was no panic, only understanding. Then she smiled shyly. "You don't look like the monster everyone says you are." He chuckled lightly. "That's because they don't see me spill coffee or bump into walls." For the first time that day, Lila laughed. The sound was soft, genuine. Damien smiled back. Then his phone buzzed again. His assistant said, "The board wants answers. Tomorrow morning meeting. Be ready." His smile faded. He looked at Lila. "Tomorrow's going to be a long day." "Then you'll need more coffee," she said, trying to sound brave. He nodded and walked away, glancing back once before entering the elevator. As the doors closed, Lila whispered to herself, "Why does it feel like something's starting, even when it shouldn't?" The elevator beeped softly and carried him away, leaving her standing in the quiet hallway under the dim lights. The next morning, the office felt like a live wire. Everywhere Damien walked, whispers followed. Cameras flashed near the building entrance. His assistant hurried beside him. "The board is waiting in the conference room, and so are the reporters." He sighed. "Of course they are." Inside the conference room, the board members sat stiffly, hands folded, expressions sharp. One of them, an older man with silver hair, cleared his throat. "Mr. Grant, we've built this company on discipline and reputation. Now the media paints you as some scandal-chasing billionaire." Damien clasped his hands. "It was an accident. Nothing more." Another board member leaned forward. "Then prove it. Fire the cleaner, and we'll release a statement saying it was staged." Damien's head snapped up. "Fire her? For what? Being in the wrong place at the wrong time?" "It's the easiest fix." "No," he said firmly. I won't ruin someone's life to save my image. The room went silent. His assistant looked nervous, whispering, Sir, maybe think this through. I've thought it through, Damien said. If we start punishing the innocent, then what kind of company are we? The meeting ended in awkward silence. As Damien walked out, he saw Lila standing near the janitor's closet, clutching her mop handle like a shield. They want to fire me, don't they? She asked quietly. He stopped. Not if I can help it. Her eyes filled with tears. You shouldn't risk your job for me. He smiled faintly. I'm not risking my job. I'm protecting my dignity. That afternoon, as he stepped outside to address the press, the cameras flashed in his face. Mr. Grant, did you kiss your cleaner? A reporter shouted. Damien took a breath. I didn't. I bumped into her. It was a clumsy accident. But since everyone here seems to enjoy stories more than truth, let me tell you the real one. The crowd hushed. He looked directly into the cameras. Her name is Lila. She's hardworking, humble, and trying to support her sick mother. She didn't deserve to be turned into a rumor. Neither of us did. So to everyone sharing lies online, I'd like to remind you, some of us are still human. A ripple of murmurs swept through the reporters. Lila, who had been watching from inside, felt tears sting her eyes. Later that evening, as the building emptied, she saw him sitting alone in his office, staring out the window. She hesitated before knocking. Can I come in? He turned. You don't have to thank me. She smiled shyly. Maybe I don't, but I want to. He leaned back in his chair, eyes tired but kind. You know, this company runs on fear sometimes. Everyone wants to impress the boss. You're the first person who just talked to me like a human being. She laughed softly. You spilled coffee on me, Mr. Grant. That's not exactly boss behavior. He chuckled. Guess you're right. There was a brief silence, comfortable this time. Then she said, So, what happens now? He looked at her for a long moment. Now, you go home, rest, and come back tomorrow. Your job's safe. And you, he shrugged. I'll survive the headlines. She smiled. You're braver than you think. As she turned to leave, he called out, Lila? She paused. Next time, he said with a small grin, I'll make sure not to bump into you. The internet might crash. She laughed, a sound that filled the room with light. Outside, the city buzzed with news stories and gossip, but inside the Grant Group tower, things finally felt calm. The next morning, when Lila arrived for work, she found a small note taped to her locker. In Damien's handwriting, it read, Thank you for not judging me by the rumors. She folded the note and smiled quietly. Maybe fate didn't always start with perfection. Sometimes it began with a clumsy bump and a misunderstood moment. As she pushed her cleaning cart down the hallway, someone nearby whispered, Isn't that her, the cleaner from the video? Lila looked up, smiled softly, and replied, Yes, that's me. Then she continued walking, head high. In his office above, Damien watched through the glass. For once, he wasn't thinking about profits or headlines, just about how a simple mistake changed how he saw people and maybe himself.